See, a horse whisperer, this is actually, our message is a horse whisperer.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that is so popular nowadays. How many people, I wonder, and only God knows, have been reached by that demonstration of getting a horse to finally turn his head towards the person in the middle of the arena, give him their attention, and submit their will to that horse. It's a wonderful phenomenon, and you're going to experience that. Who is our horse whisperer?
David Kenyon.
David Kenyon. Man, what a gift he has. Then
Yes,
we're going to listen to some music by Eddie Williams with a group called Witness. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's chock full of stuff.
And this is all new for us, so I'm excited.
I am excited too.
You could probably tell we're trying to make sure we got the names and stuff right. But if this is absolute great program, you want to stay hooked. If you like to watch horse programs on RFD TV, of course.
Yes.
You'll love this program because he brings a message. He uses scriptures to explain what the horse is thinking.
Right.
And you know the real eerie part?
What? It's who's right.
He's right. And he's reading my mind. That's some of the stuff I've been thinking when God's dealing with me.
It's the whole principle, you know. Sometimes we can run around and round and round and round in our own round pen of life, and until we get tired enough and tired of running our own lives, then and only then will we look to God. Yeah. And so it's the same principle. It's a wonderful principle.
We think we've hit the bottom, but God's just allowed us to get to a point where he can visit with us.
Right. Yeah.
It's true.
One of our little ears points towards him. He wants them both. He wants our whole heart.
Yeah.
And it's the best way of life.
And start licking your lips, you know, all that kind of stuff that goes with it. Yeah.
That's
Susie
what I
likes
do
the program.
when a nail shop comes by. Lick my lips.
With a nail shop?
Yeah.
Oh, you got your handful of those dark nails.
So sit back, relax. We're going to Cowboy Church, and you are going to like this.
I tell you what, before I sing, I have to testify, and I got to give a testimony for Christ. I'm telling you what, he changed my life. I love my Jesus. There's a long time I couldn't say that. But I'll tell you what, back in June 26th, I've got a brother that's 33 years old. He's 6'3", weighs 295 pounds, wears size 15 shoes. This boy's a man. There ain't nothing ever hurt this boy in his life. But I tell you what he did. About the 15th of June, he went camping down on the river. My brother got bit by a tick, a little red seed tick. They call it the Lone Star tick. Well, it swelled up a little bit, and he went to the doctor, and they gave him some antibiotics, and they said, you'll be fine. And for about 8 days, my brother was fine. On the 9th day, I walked in there in his bedroom. My brother had a wash rag across his head. He's running a high fever. And I said, boy, you shouldn't be sick on antibiotic. I don't understand that and running a fever like that. And he said, oh, we'll call and get an appointment. So we got an appointment for a couple days later. 2 days went by, and I pull up there at the house, and I knew it was about time for his appointment, and he's walking outside. My brother is staggering like he's drunk. And I'm thinking, what in the world is going on here? And I roll down the window, and my brother looks at me, and he says, you got to take me to the hospital. He said, you got to take me to my doctor. He says, I'm sick. I can't drive. I get my brother, put him in the car, and we drive to the doctor's office. As soon as we walk in the doctor's office, the doctor looks at my brother, and he says, we got to call 911. I thought, are you serious? He calls 911. He asks for an air vac or an ambulance who could get there the quickest. My brother was in septic shock. His body was shutting down. So we follow him. An ambulance came. It got there the quickest, and they get him to Springfield. And I'll never forget the day I walk in that emergency room. And when I walk in there, I see my brother laying on this bed, and he's tilted up about halfway, you know, and he's looking at me. And that's about as close as I can get. They're working on my brother. And as he's looking at me, this sweat is just running from his head, just like you're pouring water upon him. And his face is just beet red. And all of a sudden, I'm looking, and the whites of his eyes pop, and blood starts coming from my brother's eyes. All of a sudden, my brother's eyes around it looks like you just hit him. They blacken. Just look like you hit him. And I yell. I said, what is going on with my brother? And they says, well, he's under so much pressure. He's lost all the platelets in his body. And everywhere he's under pressure, it's busting. And I says, what can we do? And that lady looked at me. I'll never forget it. She says, all you can do is pray. She says, we're going to do all we can do. My brother's kidneys had already shut down, and his liver was starting to shut down. Well, to make this story as short as I can, to tell you the whole thing, my brother went on life support. My brother died 3 times. My brother was in the hospital 85 days, and I was there every day. And I walk in this hospital, and they kept telling us, the doctor, I'll never forget the night we took him up there. And I stayed there at the hospital, and I went out to get a couple hours sleep in my car, my cell phone run. I'll never forget, at 6 o'clock in the morning, the doctor wanted to see me. I rush up there, and he looks at me, and he says, we want to know what to do. I says, about what? And he says, well, we're going to have to put your brother on life support. His kidneys is shut down, his liver has shut down, his lungs are shutting down. Now, your brother won't come out of this hospital, but we need to know if we need to trach him or what your wishes are for him. Do we just need to make him comfortable? That was a boy. A day before that could get up and pour his own milk and do everything, 33 years old. You never know when it's your time. And I'm going to tell you, I've been a Christian for about 4 years now. And if anything ever tested my faith, it was that right there. My brother never hurt anybody. He's a good young man, loves children. There's not a mean bone in this boy's body. And I asked God, I said, God, I fell on my knees and I started praying. I said, this can't be happening. God can change this. And I'm telling you, the doctors kept telling us and the nurses saying he's not going to make it. My brother laid there for 3 weeks, could not move and on life support. And I tell you what, and I kept thinking, God, you're not hearing me. You're not hearing me. But until I went and got back in the Word of God and looked, and it said that to anoint him with oil and ask the elders of the church and believe in faith, because my faith was not where it should have been, because every time I left that hospital, I kept thinking my brother's going to die. I've got to prepare the family. I got to prepare my dad that's sick, that my brother was going to die. My faith wasn't where it should have been. But then when I started believing 100% that my brother is going to come out of that hospital and we anointed him with oil, I'll never forget it. My brother, they took the life support off. He started breathing on his own. His liver started doing better. We started praying with my brother. My brother finally woke up, and we had to teach him how to open his eyelids up and how to move his hands. And I'll never forget it. He was scared, and I want to tell you this right now, and then I'm going to start singing. But I seen a lot of miracles in that hospital. My brother walked out of that hospital after 85 days. And it was God. Because I'll never forget when we anointed him with oil for 3 days and we prayed for him and we believed in faith and showed the Lord that we 100% believed that he would cure my brother. And we did not think that he was going to die. I'll never forget the kidney doctor walking in, and he looks at me and he says, well, the day before this, he told us that my brother would be on dialysis for 6 months to a year, maybe longer. He don't know what the outcome's going to be. The following day, my brother jerks the tubes out of himself. The doctor walks in and looks at me, and he says, he just got better. That's all I can tell you. And I says, I can tell you. And I give God all the praise for that. And I wrote this song. It's called God's Hands, and I hope you like it.
Family in, I've seen miracles. Said it was the end. Sometimes we don't understand. I've seen miracles. It's in God's hands. Oh, I cried out to the Father, have mercy on us all. Stop my pain and felt my sorrow and my begging call. I've seen miracles. It's in God's hands. A child was born the other night, fighting hard for his life. That wasn't at all in God's plan. Now he's a miracle. It's in God's hand. Oh, I cried out to the Father, have mercy on us all. Stop my pain and stop my sorrow and my begging call. I've seen miracles. It's in God's hands. I think Him in the morning, in the afternoon. Think Him in the evening when I lay down too. I've seen miracles. It's in God's hand. Oh, I cried out to the Father, have mercy on us all. Stop my pain, stop my sorrow, and my begging call. I've seen miracles. It's in God's hand. I've seen miracles. It's in God's hand.